deposits. So the first one is the higher interest rate. Fixed deposits generally offer higher interest rates compared to saving accounts, especially for longer tenures. Fixed tenure: once deposited, the funds cannot be withdrawn before the maturity date without incurring penalties or losing some interest. Interest payments: interest can be paid out periodically, which is monthly, quarterly, annually, or compounded and paid at maturity. Safety and stability: fixed deposits are considered safe investment because they are protected by the deposit insurance up to a certain limit. The purpose of the fixed deposits are: they are suitable for individuals and businesses looking to earn higher returns on surplus funds while maintaining liquidity for short-term needs. These fixed deposit accounts cater to different financial needs and goals, offering flexibility, securing and varying level of returns depending on the account type and tenure chosen by the depositors. So now we're moving toward the second function of banks, which is providing loans and advances. Bank plays a crucial role in providing loans and advances to individuals and businesses, facilitating economic growth and meeting various financial needs. So the types of loans offered by the banks are: number one, personal loans. The purpose of personal loan is is to provide loans to the individual for various personal needs and expenses. The uses of the personal loans: personal loan can be used by the individual for the various purposes like education. Personal loan can be used to finance higher education expenses, including tuition fees, books, and living expenses. The second is for medical emergencies. They help cover unexpected medical bills, surgeries, or treatments that may not be fully covered by the insurance. The third is for wedding. Personal loans can be used to fund wedding expenses, including venue cost, catering, and other related expenditures. Personal loans can also be used for the travel or personal projects. Individual can take personal loans for travel, home renovation, purchasing consumer durables, or other personal objects. Now we'll discuss about the features of the personal loans. The number one is fixed amount. Banks provides a lump sum amount based on the borrower's income, credit history, and repayment capacity. The second is fixed interest rate. Personal loans usually have fixed interest rates, making it easier for borrowers to budget monthly payments. Flexible repayment terms. So, in personal loans, borrowers can choose repayment period ranging from a few months to the several years, depending upon the loan amount and the affordability of that individual. Second, we'll move toward the home loans. The purpose of home loans is to secure loans provided to individuals for purchasing, constructing, or renovating residential properties. We'll discuss about the features of the home loan here, in which the first is the loan amount. Bank offer home loans based on the property value and the borrower's income and credit worthiness. Longer tenure. uh, Home loans basically have the longer tenure as compared to the personal loans, offer ranging from 10 to 30 years, allowing borrowers to spread out payments over an extended period. Interest rate. Home loan interest rates can be fixed or variable. Fixed rate remain constant throughout the loan tenure, while the variable rates may change based on the market conditions. Secured against properties. The property being financed serve as collateral for the loan, providing security to the bank and typically resulting in lower interest rates compared to the unsecured loans. Now we are moving toward the third type of loans, that are business loans. Business loans are designed to meet the financial need of businesses ranging from startups to established enterprises. The uses of business loans are: number one is These are the loans for day-to-day operational expenses such as inventory purchase, payroll, and overhead cost. Expansion of the business. Business loans are also used for the business expansion, including opening new location, buying a new equipment, or investing in a new technology or in technology upgradation. They're also used for the capital investment. Business loans used for purchasing machinery, infrastructure, or other capital assets required for business growth. Discussing about the features of the business loans. So here, the first feature is the loan amount. Business loans are tailored based on the company's financial performance, creditworthiness, and the purpose of the loan. Repayment terms. Repayment schedules can be flexible, aligning with the business cash flow and revenue generation cycle. Now talking about the interest rates. Interest rates may vary based on the factors such as the borrower's credit profile, business risk, and the market condition. Collateral requirement. Depending on the loan amount and risk profile, banks may require collateral such as business assets or personal guarantee from the business owners. So in conclusion, we can say that these type of loans offered by the banks cater to diverse financial needs, providing individuals and businesses with access to funds to achieve personal goals, home ownership dream, and business growth objective. Bank assess each loan application based on factors such as creditworthiness, repayment capacity, and the purpose of the loan to ensure responsible lending and financial stability. Now we are moving toward the third function of the bank, which is the credit creation. Credit creation by bank is a fundamental process through which banks lend out a portion of the deposits they receive, thereby by expanding the money supply in the economy. So now we'll discuss about how credit creation works, and we'll also discuss about its implication in the economy. So first is deposit mobilization. This is the primary function of the bank to attract deposits from the customer, including individual, businesses, and government entities. These deposits represent funds that customer entrusts to bank for safekeeping and potential return. Second is reserve requirement. In most countries, including India, banks operate under a fractional reserve system. This means they are required to hold only a fraction of their deposits as reserves and can lend out the remainder. Statutory requirements. Central bank, like the Reserve Bank of India, set a statutory reserve requirement that dictate the minimum percentage of the deposits that bank must hold in the reserve. The remainder, known as the excess reserves, can be used for the lending purpose. So now we are discussing about the lending process. The first is credit evaluation. Bank assess the creditworthiness of borrowers based on the several factors such as income, credit history, and purpose of the loan. Then, then here comes the loan issuance. Once approved, bank disburse loans to borrowers in the form of credit, typically as deposits in the borrower's accounts or through other means such as electronic transfers or check. New money creation. When a bank extends credit to a borrower, it effectively creates new money in the economy. This is because the loan amount becomes a new deposit in the borrower account, which can be spent or circulated in the money afterward. So now we'll discuss about the multiplier effect, which can expand the money supply. The process of banks lending out deposits sets off a multiplier effect in the economy. Let's take an example here. If a bank lends out 100 rupees from its excess reserves and assuming a reserve requirement of 10%, it can potentially create up to 1,000 in new deposits, assuming the 100 rupees as redeposited and 90% of it again lent out. The impact of credit creation on the economic activity. Increased credit creation leads to higher spending, higher investment and economic activity, contributing to the economic growth and employment generation across the nation. The risk management and regulation in terms of credit creation. The first is prudential norm. Central banks regulate credit creation through prudential norms and guidelines to ensure banks maintain adequate capital, manage risk, and safeguard depositors' interest. Credit risk. Banks mitigate credit risk by diversifying their loan portfolio, conducting thorough credit assessment, and setting aside provisions for potential loan defaults. In last, we can say that the credit creation by banks plays a pivotal role in stimulating economic activity and expanding the money supply in the economy. It supports consumption, investment, and entrepreneurship, thereby driving economic growth. However, it is also necessitates effective regulation and risk management to maintain financial stability and ensure sustainable economic development across the country. Now we are moving towards the next function of the banks, which is payment and settlement services. Payment and settlement services offered by banks are essential components of the financial infrastructure, facilitating the transfer of funds and enabling transactions between individual businesses and institutions. So, the settlement services typically provided by the banks, there are numerous services, and one of them is the check clearing. Check clearing involves the movement of physical or electronic check from the bank where they are deposited to the bank on which they are drawn. Facilitation of the check clearing. Banks act as intermediaries in the check clearing process, ensuring that funds are transferred securely and efficiently between accounts. Discuss about the timelines of the check clearances depending on the location and clearing cycle. Check may take a few days to clear, during which time the funds are verified and transferred between the banks. The second is the electronic fund transfer, which is also known as EFT. Bank facilitates various forms of electronic fund transfers, which includes NEFT, National Electronic Fund Transfer. It is a nationwide payment system facilitating one-to-one fund transfer. Second is RTGS, real-time gross settlement. It is a system for large value and time-critical interbank transfers settled in real time. The third is IMPS, immediate payment services. These payment services enables instant interbank electronic fund transfers, which enables 24/7 transfer of the payments. Discussing about the advantage of these payment systems are it offers speed, convenience, and security compared to traditional paper-based transactions. They support transactions ranging from small amounts to large-scale transfer for businesses and personal use. Now, moving toward the third payment and settlement services, which is debit and credit cards. So, first is we'll discuss about the debit cards. Debit card linked to a customer's bank account. It allows for immediate withdrawal of funds and payments directly from the account. Debit cards are widely used for everyday transactions at ATMs, point of sale terminals, and online purchases. Now, coming towards the credit card, they are issued by the bank or financial institutions. Credit card provides a revolving line of credit that customer can use to make purchases, withdraw cash, and pay bills. User repay borrowed funds over time, often with added interest if not paid in full by the due date. So, functionality of the credit card and debit card are Both the debit and credit card offer convenience, security features like PIN and encryptions and global acceptance, enabling users to make purchases locally and internationally. So here we come to the fourth payment and settlement services, which is mobile and internet banking. Bank provide mobile banking apps and internet banking platforms, allowing customer to manage their account, transfer bills, transfer funds, and perform other financial transactions remotely. They also offer secure authentication methods, encryptions, and real-time monitoring, help safeguard transactions, and protect customer information from unauthorized access. So now we are moving toward the next function of the banks, which is the agency functions. Agency functions performed by the banks encompasses a variety of services where banks act as an agent on behalf of their customer or third parties. These functions typically involve managing financial transactions, providing fiduciary services, and facilitating compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. So the key agency functions carried out by the banks are collection and payment of credit instruments. Bank act as an intermediaries in the collection and payment of credit instruments such as checks and bills of exchange. So here we come the first collection. Bank receives and process checks deposited by their customers, ensuring the funds transferred from the drawer's account to the base account. Payment. Bank honor check drawn on their customer accounts then presented for payment, ensuring that sufficient funds are available and the transaction is processed securely. Second is trustee and executor services. Bank act as trustees to manage trusts created by individuals or organizations for purposes such as asset management, charitable purposes, or estate planning. Banks may be appointed as the executor of estate to administer the deceased assets, settle debts, distribute inheritance according to the will, and ensure the compliance with legal requirement. So, acting as a trustee or executor, bank also perform the fiduciary duties, which includes uh, to act in the best interest of the beneficiaries or heirs, managing assets prudently and in accordance with legal directives. So the third services of the bank as the agency functions is tax services. Bank assists individual and businesses in making timely and accurate tax payment to tax authorities. Banks may deduct and remit withholding taxes on behalf of the customer for income such as interest, dividend, and payment to non-residents. Bank may also provide tax advisory services, offering guidance on tax planning strategies, compliance with tax laws, and optimizing tax liabilities. So there are also other several agency functions in which the first is insurance premium collection. Banks may collect insurance premium on behalf of insurance companies, ensuring policyholders maintain coverage. The second is escrow services. Bank act as a escrow agents to hold funds or assets in trust pending the completion of transaction or fulfillment of contractual obligation. Custodial services. Banks also provide custody and safekeeping of financial assets such as securities, bank, bonds, and valuable documents on the behalf of their clients. So, in conclusion of that, we can say agency function performed by banks involve acting as trusted intermediaries to facilitate financial transactions, manage assets, and ensure compliance with legal and regulatory obligation on behalf of their customers or third parties. These services contribute to the efficient functioning of the financial system and support individuals and businesses in managing their financial affairs effectively. Now we are moving toward the next function of the bank, which is investment and wealth management services. Investment and wealth management services offered by banks cater to individual families, institutions seeking professional assistance in managing their investment and financial assets. So, the key aspects of investment and wealth management typically provided by the bank is investment advice. Bank offers investment advisory services to help clients make informed decisions about investing their money in various financial instruments. Bank also guide the experienced financial advisors also provide personalized advice on investment options such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, and other securities. The advisor of the banks also assists clients' risk tolerance, investment goals, horizon, and financial situations to recommend suitable investment strategies. Investment and wealth management also give the assistance in market research as the bank conduct thorough market research and analysis to identify potential investment opportunities and risk, keeping clients informed about market trends and economic development. Advisor also emphasize the importance of diversifying investment to managing risk and optimize return across different asset classes and geographic regions. Now we are moving toward the portfolio management. Bank offer portfolio management services where professional portfolio managers create and manage investment portfolios tailored as client objective and risk profiles. Portfolio managers strategically allocate assets across various investment categories, such as equities, fixed income, alternative investment, and it is based on the client's goals and market conditions. Depending on the client preferences, portfolio managers may actively trade and rebalance the portfolio to capitalize on market opportunities or mitigate the risk. So, banks also provide regular performance report and update to clients, offering transparency and accountability in portfolio management. Now we'll discuss about the foreign exchange services offered by the bank. Foreign exchange services provided by banks plays a crucial role in facilitating international transactions and currency exchange for individuals, businesses, and institutions engaged in global trade, travel, and investment. So here are the key aspects of the foreign exchange services typically offered by the bank. The first one is the currency exchange. Bank facilitate the conversion of one currency into another, known as the currency exchange or foreign exchange, which is also known as the forex. So the types of transactions here are: the number one is retail transaction. Individual and travelers exchange currencies for personal use, such as vacation, shopping abroad, or remittances to family members. The second type of transactions are the corporate transactions. Business engage in currency exchange for international trade transactions, payments to overseas suppliers, and receipt of foreign revenues. Exchange rates. Bank provide competitive exchange rate that reflect the current market condition, ensuring transparency and efficiency in currency conversion. So here comes the second, which is the international transaction. Bank facilitate international trade by providing trade finance solutions such as letter of credit, documentary collection, and trade finance loan. Letter of credit. Bank issue letter of credit to guarantee payment between importers and exporters, mitigating risk and facilitating smooth transactions. Documentary collections are the bank handles shipping documents and payment instructions on behalf of exporters and importers, ensuring secure and efficient settlement of trade transactions. Foreign investment. is also the part of the foreign exchange services. Banks support cross-border investment by facilitating fund transfers, foreign currency accounts, and hedging strategies to manage currency risk for investor and businesses expanding internationally. Remittances. Bank offer international money transfer services. For example, SWIFT transfers, telegraphic transfer for individuals and businesses to send and receive funds globally, supporting remittances, payments, and investment across borders. So now we are moving toward the next function of the banks, which is also the last, is safety deposit lockers. Safety deposit lockers offered by banks provide a secure and reliable storage solution for customer to safeguard valuable items, documents, and possessions. The key aspects of safety deposit lockers is: first is to secure storage. Safety deposit lockers are used to store valuable items that customer want to protect from theft, loss, or damage. So the type of items that customer can typically store in the banks are jewelry, important documents such as property deeds, bills, insurance policies, valuable collections such as coin and stamps, and other irreplaceable possessions. Banks also maintain the confidentialities regarding the content of safety deposit lockers, ensuring privacy and security for customer. Discussing about the features and security measures of the safety deposit lockers is: physical security. The safety deposit lockers are housed within banks, walls, or secure areas designed to withstand fire, natural disaster, and unauthorized access. The access of safety deposit lockers is typically restricted to authorized individuals, often requiring dual keys or electronic access codes for added securities. In conclusion, we can say that safety deposit lockers provided by banks offer customer a secure and confidential storage solution for their valuable item and document with robust security measures, controlled access, and reliable customer support. Safety deposit lockers help individuals and businesses protect their assets and maintain peace of mind regarding the safety of their most precious belongings. Thank you, everyone.